Introduction. William Edward Preston, Jr. was born on September 18, 1899, in Perth Amboy, New Jersey. In 1908, his father, tired of his 20 years as a butcher, sold his business to a local competitor and relocated his family to a 135-acre farm in Morganville, Marlborough Township, New Jersey. William Sr. relished his newfound life as a produce farmer. He not only harvested his crops, but also managed their distribution to customers in New York City. William Jr. assisted his father in his agricultural endeavors until he enlisted in the Army in 1917. Upon arriving in France, he trained as an aircraft mechanic and was fortunate enough to capture a private photograph of General John J. Pershing, commander of the American Expeditionary Force during World War I. In 1918, Preston survived a bout of Spanish influenza, which would go on to kill at least 50 million less fortunate people, and returned home to New Jersey after the armistice was declared in November. While he could have resumed work on the family farm, William instead elected to go to work for the manager of a small private savings bank in New York City. In 1923, he married Alta Mae Walling, a girl 2 years his junior. The newlyweds resided in the Flatbush section of Brooklyn for a brief period, then relocated to Keyport, New Jersey after their first child was born in 1924. William continued to work for the bank until 1925, but sought greener pastures after his manager departed. He eventually landed at a much larger financial institution, situated at 55 Wall Street, the National City Bank of New York. Founded in 1812, National City Bank of New York, not to be confused with Cleveland-based National City Bank, had grown to in excess of $1 billion in assets by 1919. In 1921, Charles E. Mitchell was elected president of National City Bank. In a separate action, he also became president of its investment banking affiliate, National City Company. Under Mitchell's leadership, both the commercial bank and investment bank grew at a torrid pace. By 1930, National City Bank, the commercial bank, had established 100 branches in 23 countries outside the U.S., making it the second largest commercial bank in the United States. National City Company, the investment bank, had become the world's largest underwriter of stocks and bonds. Mitchell capitalized on his unique position as the only U.S. bank with a considerable overseas presence to underwrite bonds on behalf of Latin American governments. He used his large domestic sales force to distribute the debt to American retail investors. William Preston, Jr. was one of the salesmen, selling the bond certificates for cash right out of his briefcase. 80 years later, his children recounted that their father never really enjoyed hawking those Latin American bonds. He never felt they were a safe bet, but he made such good money selling them, how could he not? After all, he had 2 kids to feed. As fate would have it, Preston's instincts were eventually vindicated. Many of the securities he sold defaulted as the Depression spread from the United States to Latin America in the early 1930s. Fortunately, he was able to retain his employment with National City Bank, becoming a commercial loan officer in the Foreign Credit Department. For his part, Sunshine Charlie Mitchell remained chairman until 1933, when he was arrested and indicted for tax evasion. Though acquitted of all criminal charges, he paid the government $1 million in a civil settlement. For Mitchell, the sum was not terribly onerous. National City had paid him in excess of $1 million in each of the years 1927 through 1929. William Preston was never indicted on civil or criminal charges for his role in the proliferation of dubious securities. He did, however, perform several acts of restitution to the community. In an era when bankers were reticent to extend credit to anyone, he was able to keep several small businesses alive by authorizing their credit lines. He counseled friends in managing their businesses as the banking crisis unfolded in the early 1930s. In one expression of gratitude, Preston's wife Alta was given a mink coat by a fur clothing retailer who had narrowly avoided financial ruin thanks to William's admonition. William retained his role as a loan officer for National City Bank for the remainder of his career. While not an avid...
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.